For any of you on the call, we're just waiting a couple seconds to get everybody in, and then we'll begin. All right, Joe, I think we probably should be okay now if you want to, I'm hoping. If you want to start, hopefully everybody's in at this point.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to come on to this demo call. I think everybody knows me. I'm Joe Williams. LeeAnne's Stout from CIS is going to run the meeting. I just wanted to quick thank everyone and let you know we've been using CIS in Local 5 for probably 15 years or longer. And a lot of you see the leads that myself and Jack and Eric send out, and Ed Loomis in the past. We've had great success with identifying bids for maintenance, construction, and modernization elevator projects all over the region. And it's been a great tool for us to track work, make sure that our companies are seeing the work that's available, bidding on the work, and it's helped us compete and take the work and keep work from going non-union. So, I mean, it's really helped us grow the market share and keep our market share moving forward in the elevator industry. So thanks for coming on and listening to everything. I hope you find this useful, and hopefully you'll participate and subscribe to CIS because it's a great tool for everybody trying to sell work. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to LeeAnne. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you for that glowing endorsement, Joe. I appreciate it. That's so nice of you. Hi, everyone. My name is LeeAnne Stout. Some of you probably know me. Some of you may not. I'm going to kind of roughly try and stay to that 30-minute deadline that I promised earlier. So what I'm going to do today is give you kind of a brief overview of CIS. We're going to dig into some projects. But before we get started, I just want to kind of, for those of you who are not familiar with our company, give you just some foundation. So CIS has been around for 32 years. We're a local project lead service based here in New Jersey. We're started by a civil engineer. His name's Don Colabella. His daughter, Chris, is our president, and kind of really was frustrated by the information out there, kind of feeling like he would, be writing a bid in a car, not having enough time. If he did bid it, he didn't know the bid result, or driving down the road and seeing a lot cleared and not really knowing, what are they building on here? I have no idea what's going on. Private work was like a mystery. So his goal was to cover really small geography, but to know everything going on. So to not only have reporters in the office, but on the street hunting it down daily. So as a company, this is the whole territory we cover. We cover 2 full states, New Jersey and Delaware. We also cover the 5 surrounding Philadelphia counties, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, Bucks, and Philly, as well as New York City, Long Island, and Southern New York State makes up Rockland, Orange, and Westchester counties of New York. So that's our whole footprint. For our purposes of today, we're kind of focusing on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th column. We're looking South Jersey. I actually went Mercer, Middlesex down to the end of the state, Eastern PA, and Delaware. So we can keep it to pretty much local 5's area, slightly a little bit larger. So anyway, so that's kind of to give you just some background. We do both public work and private work, but I'm going to kind of walk you through the homepage and we'll dig into some of the project meat, so to speak. So my desktop is your home screen. No matter where you are on the website, you can click this button to bring you back, as these buttons over here will stay kind of static on the website. This section here under our daily feed are the main reports we kind of start every company with. Under custom reports, I created for time purposes a couple elevator reports specifically targeted to your type of work. So we are looking today at elevator new construction. There's modernization, service, maintenance, contracts, because I know each of you do a little bit, all of them, some a little bit of just one or the other. In the search section here, this is a quick search. So think of this as Google. You're just trying to find one thing fast, whether it's a project, a contractor, a sub, material supplier, equipment dealer, architect, engineer, owner. Very easy in and out. It's kind of, think of it as Google. And down here is what I call your tracking buckets. So this is where you can track not only competitors, but you can track GCs that you bid to. It's a way to make sure you know what they're doing and you're not missing any opportunities. Most people tell me, I've been with CIS for 15 years, and most people tell me like, hey, there's one estimator that always calls me, but that somebody else says there's another estimator that, calls his guy. So it's a way to make sure you have every opportunity to get involved. And over here is tracking the physical projects themselves. So as things change, any change on a project will highlight and update. So we'll go through that too. Now, down the bottom, this is something new we started. So it's real project information. We've been doing it for a while, but we just put it live on our site a couple weeks ago. So these are projects as they're being updated today, whether it's a bid result we just attended at 10 o'clock, you'll see the results showing up at 11. So it's something we're super proud of because we're really giving contractors information very quickly so they can kind of progress with their day. Okay, now let's start with the daily report. So we update our service Monday through Friday. This report goes out to every user every single night. And it's 1 day's worth of information. It's the brand new projects, the updates, and the previous day's bid results. Mind you, any of this daily report territory can all be modified by your geography, your type of work, whatever. So I'm just kind of giving you a broad spectrum of new buildings, addition, specialty, and rehab work based on the geography I mentioned, South Jersey, Eastern PA, and Delaware. Again, you can modify territory, all of it. But I'm doing a big group of people, so I'm kind of doing a broader view. If you do kind of from today or like, hey, you know what, we want to do a more detailed look at this, feel free. My contact information is here. You probably got a bazillion emails from me. So feel free to reach out and I can just do a one-on-one and cater to your specific needs if you need that. Okay, so the daily report. This is 1 day's worth of information. So there's 5 tabs at the top. Pre-planning, planning, and negotiated tabs are 95% of the time where the private work is going to be, versus out to bid, and bid results are primarily going to be the public work. So pre-planning is the earliest stage of construction. Sketch plan, zoning, fundraising. So just to give you some background, so our public work is anything. Local, county, state, federal, any shape or size, buildings, roads, utilities, whatever. With private work, it's all around new building construction. So as long as the commercial is a minimum of 5,000 square foot and greater, we will have all of those. And then residential will also do, but it has to be a minimum of 10 dwelling units and larger, which means could be single family, apartments, condos, multi-dwelling, whatever. As long as there's 10 living spaces, we'll have those as well. So pre-planning is the earliest stage of construction. It's sketch plan, zoning, fundraising, very, very early. So the 2 at the top here are listed as new. These down here are updates of projects we already had on the site. So if I just click on this top one in Paulsboro, just to give you an example. So this one is published by us brand new today. What I tell folks is go right away to the description to see if you even care what this is. Don't waste time reading a bunch of stuff if you don't even like what it is. So it's construction of a new office and training facilities on 10 acres. So as of yesterday, Holtz Logistic Corp has purchased the property for $1.8 million from Paulsboro, and plans to develop this for training facilities. So if this is something you're kind of like, hey, this could be interesting, it might have some elevator work on it, then you can track it and I'll throw it in your track bucket on the home page. You can also add your company, as the iron workers did on here, as interested. So this is basically, and I have just a fake LeeAnne construction name, but it basically has a click through to your company profile page so they can kind of take a look. But it's letting any GCs looking at it now know that you're interested in being a bidder on there. It's kind of like a free advertisement on the website. So in the pre-planning and the planning stages, there are no general contractors awarded yet. GCs are looking at it in this stage, which is why it's a perfect time to add yourself as interested and track the job. So again, you'll have your owners listed, location, kind of typical how they look first day, super early. Now I'm going to hop over to planning, which is the final approval before the planning board. So on this one, we'll just kind of look at this. It's a healthcare senior living, most likely going to have elevator, I would imagine, right? This is in Cherry Hill. So this one was published by us in April of this year. So again, we're going to kind of scroll to the bottom to see the description. So it's construction of a 175 unit senior living facility, 85 independent senior living care services, and a bunch of memory care units. So the original note when we tracked it is down the bottom, which is so great. So if you're trying, the original note of what just happened is letting us know that someone just approved the purchase on, let's see, resolution to approve the purchase of the property from the former developer on 9/26. So you can kind of look at the nice history of what's happened as it's going before the zoning boards and things to see what kind of information is on here. Sometimes you see a really long planning notes, there's somewhere in there, there's the word litigation. So you're like, that's what's going on. Work included. This is not every bit of work included, but you can see elevators on here as well. Design firm, developers, attorneys, everyone's contact information, location of the project. Again, track it, add yourself if it's interested. Oh, and the local 5 has added themselves on there. So that is kind of typical of how they look in the pre-planning and planning. Now, negotiated means a GC has been awarded, but it can be in any phase of construction. It can still be going through the approval process. It could be starting construction. It could be wrapping it up. So this one is showing nothing's even started. These are updates of projects that are already in progress. And this one over here is also a job that hasn't started yet. So if I were to look at this Marmora project, I can kind of come in here and I can see, again, the description of the project in this section over here. So there's an old plan and now there's kind of a new updated, amended plan. So you can kind of look at the history and again, see the description. This one of these that I was talking about with a very long description of what's happened. See, settlement. Whenever I say there's a big description in there, there's some kind of litigation. Owner, contractors, these are the remediation demo contractors, developers on the projects. You can kind of see, and people who are adding themselves as interested. So that's kind of typical. And again, you can track it if you're interested. Wells Fargo Center renovation. I'm sure everyone's familiar with this on here. It's been hanging out for a while. And again, you can kind of see Structure Tone as the contractor and you can see where they are. Renovations are ongoing and the history of what's happening with that project. So that's kind of typical. Oops, I went right out of that, of how they look in the private sector. So this again is just today's information only. Now out to bid, these are the brand new public jobs that were listed in the local paper or online. And the benefit of CIS really is having that local factor because we physically have reporters, not only in the office, checking through every main paper we get delivered, checking every website, but we physically have outside reporters picking up local town papers, combing through the planning and zoning board meeting minutes, attending some of those meetings ourselves. So we do not miss anything. That's the benefit of us being local. It's a greatest strength and I guess greatest weakness you could say, because we don't cover the country, but we cover this market like nobody could possibly do. So to give you an example, I didn't see anything on here for elevator today. So I'll just click on this roof replacement one in Trenton just as an example of how they look first day. So it's published today, bid due date and time are up at the top. If there's a cost estimate, it's listed at the top. Location, owner, document information, contact information. Now, if it's a mandatory pre-bid, it's going to tell you mandatory in here, full, just like this, so that way you don't miss it. Any kind of requirements, really typical of how it looked when it first came out for bid. So again, you could track something like that if it had something pertaining to you on there. Now, you see a change from new to updates. So these are projects that have already been out for bid, but something has changed. Could be one person's picked up a set of plans, could be a cost estimate was released, could be a bunch of different things. So just to give you kind of a quick example on this one, actually, you know what? I think there's, let me see, probably want to give you a better, like this Ocean County one, Justice Complex, I think might be a little more interesting. So this one was published actually a long time ago. It's bidding not till November, so there's plenty of time on here. But you can also come in here and see, like, now there's a description on the project you can take a look at. And then what's nice, there's a ton of information on here. So you can, and you can highlight your words in here too. And you can view anything else. And now the owner on this project is not releasing the plan holders, but a lot of our clients will add themselves as plan holders. So you can see some of the plan holders that are on this job as well anyway. And then as you notice, as we go through, the more I'm interested list will just grow and grow and grow. So that is an example of out to bid and updates. Now, bid results. This is kind of where I put my money where my mouth is, that we had 10 bid openings that we cannot call together over the phone. So you can see every one of these projects bid yesterday, and we have the bid results today. Low bidder's name is here, their price is over here. But if you want to take a look and kind of see what an update is, like this Lindenwold Early Childhood Center. I don't know if anyone bid on this, but this bid yesterday, and you can kind of scroll down to see who was. Danello Construction was the low bidder at 33.3 million. That was pretty darn close bid between these two. And you can kind of see that that was the base bid. There is some alternates. They're also low on the alternate as well. And Dobco was low on the second. So if there's like 45 pages of alternates, you're also going to see that. You can kind of scroll through and take a look. Now, oh my gosh, how many alternates are this one? There's a lot of alternates. Okay, so let me come back over here. You can also, while you're in here, there's another one in media too that some of you might have cared about as well. To see again who the low bidder, Ernest Bach. And this one I notice has a whole mess of alternates on this one too, like millions of dollars worth of alternates too. And you can click on companies too. So say if you're like, hey, I know Ernest Bach, I want to keep an eye on them. You can click on them and track the company. And this goes to their company profile page. So if you bid to them, you're like, hey, well, what else are they holding plans on? So you can see the holding plans tab, that they're holding 4 other sets of plans. These are the dates they're bidding. These are the names of the projects they're holding plans on. You can also click on the job to see the more information about it. Now, low bids and other bids. These are public bids that they were low bid on over the past 3 years. Most recently, this one from yesterday. You can also go to their other bids to see how effective their bidding is. So if you add the 19 to the 50, they're 19 out of 69 is their bidding ratio, which is really pretty good. And then if you're looking at this one, you're like, oh, well, they didn't get that job, but I cared about it. Or maybe this one, they didn't get the job, but I care about it. Who got it? I can click on it and kind of then see, you know, Epic was the one who was low bid on this project. And I can see everybody's numbers in here as well. And coming back to Ernest Bach, I can also see some of the private projects they're involved in and doing as well, and under the negotiated tab. Okay, so that is 1 day's worth of information on the daily report. Again, can be completely manipulated by your company, like for the needs of your company, but just to give you an overview. Now, new and updated since my last view is if you miss a day, you're out sick, you can see the projects. Index report is your filing cabinet for the geography we're looking at in categories. There's 241 public projects out to bid, all listed with today's bid date. Now, what I did is created a customized report to pull out the ones that have to do with elevator, which is down here. So I'm going to quickly, before I jump into this, well, actually, I'll jump into it now. So I'll just do the public work first, because we were just talking about public work from the index. So out of those 200 or whatever, 16 of them have to do with elevator that are out for bid right now. So again, we can kind of see this one for the Ocean County Justice Complex we just talked about. There's also a modernization in Philadelphia. So this one just came out for bid yesterday, for those of you who may not be aware of it. It's bidding on 10/12 at 2 o'clock for Overbrook High School modernization. There's a hyperlink for your documents. There is a mandatory pre-bid on the 26th, for anyone needs to know. And then there's already starting to be a little bit of a description on here. So again, if this is a good project for you, you're going to track that job, throw in your track bucket as well. Coming on to this section, I can see in Delaware, there's a project that has, for I think there's a couple people on here, might be in the Delaware offices. So you can kind of also see your piece of it is showing up. Again, this is a project, the University, Delaware State, again, came out yesterday. So you can track that project as well. Add yourself as interested on that, because that's a GC bid. There's a new elevator and interior renovations in Oceanport. Something in PA here, some shop renovation. Let's see what's word is popping up. Oh, foundation and hoist. Okay, maybe not that one. Ball field repairs. There's classroom in Edison. Another GC bid. You can see a hydraulic pasture modernization. Another modernization here. Maintenance bids in PA. For anyone on the service side of things. Montgomery County Housing Authority bidding on 920. Oh, that's bidding tomorrow. Hopefully you know about that. If you don't, take a good look. But you can kind of see, because we did a keyword, it's going to highlight our words on here too. So just to give you an idea of how that looks. And then if we want to kind of look at some of the most recent bid results that have had your words or who got what type of project, again, you can look at these. I just went back like 90 days for bid results. So you can see who the low bidder is, what their price is. If it's something like this one was a prime bid that happened last week, and you can see the numbers, everyone who bid it for this maintenance and repair contract. And that was from Mercer County, I think, right? Yeah. And again, you can kind of click on these too. If you have competitors on here, you can track your competitors, hit this little track button here, and you can see their low bids over the past 3 years. And you can see their other bids too, projects they've been low, they were not low on. So their ratio is 10 out of 15, which is pretty darn good ratio to see what kind of bids they're getting. Okay, now that is public information. I just wanted to kind of give you a quick review. Now, private projects, again, private is all new construction. Some of them have keywords that say elevator, some of them don't. Some of them kind of you have to read into. Obviously, if it's a 7-story high rise, you have you have elevators on there. So you can kind of click in here and kind of take a look by the town you want to see, by the name of it, age-restricted apartments in Fairless Hills. Again, I would think, so it's demolition of existing structure for age-restricted apartment buildings totaling 96 units. So kind of read between the lines on this one. There will be obviously elevator in here, but it's brand new, just came out a couple of days ago. So there's not that big of a description yet. And it's still going before the zoning boards at this point. So you can, again, track it, add yourself that's interested on those types of projects as well. So there's a ton. And again, this can be all modified. Hotel and coffee shop, there's liquor store, there's Mulberry Heights, Paulsboro office and training centers. Wawas are coming up everywhere, right? There's Wawas everywhere. So you had 51. So just to give you an example of what I did, just because I went through this quickly. So I went down to the private information only, and I went back just projects within the last month. There's thousands of private jobs out there. These are the ones that actually just something has changed in the last month, so they're relevant to right now. So that's kind of where I went back to kind of give you an idea. And you can modify by your territory, because this is what we're looking at now. So if you only go to certain counties, you can just hit the counties you want to see for your own individual purpose or for the company overall. And on this one, I'm just looking at private work as well. So that's kind of what I did here. And again, so you can look at pre-planning, you can look at the planning projects and kind of, you know, there's Ridley Loft Apartments in Atlantic City. Renovation of the YMCA, 35 apartments, 32 unit masonry apartment building. Again, you kind of take a look through these. Again, pre-planning and planning do not have GCs yet, just to kind of remind you about that. So you can kind of scroll through and see King of Prussia, Jackson Howell, just depending on where you want to look. I'm just kind of giving you a brief overview. Again, if you want to see this more in detail, we can obviously meet and do that. But just to give you kind of an idea, here's apartments in Philadelphia, 7-story apartments. So again, going to have elevator on here, and it's listed in here as well too. Owner, attorney, location. Again, add yourself as interested. And if you see local 5s on there, you know it's a good one. Sorry, Joe, had to make that joke. And then negotiated is, again, private bid results. So every single one of these has a general contractor who has already got the job and awarded. However, like none of them has started. Like all these, this is a target date to start in November, first quarter next year. These ones at the top don't have a target date at all to start. But if you click on it, excuse me, sorry, just for those of you who don't know, I went to the Pink concert last night. I took my 10-year-old daughter for the first time, so I'm like a little bit congested this morning. Sorry for the choking that's going on. Anyway, so this one, by the way, really good concert. So anybody who needs to have daughters at home, really awesome. So this is a $3 million project in Philadelphia, Haverford Avenue Apartments. This was just published on our website during last month. 6-story apartment building. So again, new construction. Anybody does new construction, this is a great opportunity. You have your GC listed on here too. And there's also a click through. So if you want to go to the GC and see if they have something else, and this one they don't, but sometimes it's a really great idea to kind of go back and see, are they attached to other projects? So you're not just calling them about one. If you want to reach out and get on this project, you can call about a couple different projects. Okay, so that is the private section. And then with public work, just so you know what I did is I just did some keywords. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. For public work, rather, you can see what I did. I just did some keywords over here to pull out the jobs that have these keywords in there, which you can expand as well if you need to. Private work, you can't really do. It's more of like looking at how many floors are on the project. Okay, now this section is a quick search section. I know I'm getting about 5-7 minutes away from my time. So I plan to stay on time for all of you who have, important things going on. So in this search section, think of this as Google on our website. You're trying to find one thing quickly. So if I want to narrow down by my territory, say I'm looking in South Jersey, I'm going to look for the projects and say it has the word Pine in the title. So anything that has the word Pine is going to pull from a 3-year public bidding history, as well as any private work that has the word Pine in it. And anything else to bid for public work too, for that matter. So if I start typing and I say I type Pinehurst and I keep going. So it's just like Google. The more I type, the more it's going to shrink what I'm looking for. Now, if it is a private job, they do change the title of the project about 15 times before it actually happens. So in which case you can just put the address in and just put 1, 2, 3, like Maple Street or whatever, and kind of look for your project that way. Now, contractors, when we were looking at it earlier, you can kind of go, I do work with, LeeAnne's. I have to stop. Oh, wait, I'm looking in South Jersey, which is not helpful because they're not in South Jersey. So I can kind of look at LeeAnne's and pull up that company and again, have some information about who to contact people, who to look for. I can track this company up here and I can see any private projects they're completed, stuff they could be in the process of doing now if I want to look up LeeAnne's as well, or whatever company. And then if you come back here, I can come to and search for the next person if I want to, check the next company and I want to track them. I can kind of, again, track that company or however you want to do it. Because your first day is really about filling these 2 buckets, which I'm going to get to in 1 second. The other thing you can do is you can sponsor your category work. So people use this to find their subcontractors. So if I'm in South Jersey and I need an elevator lift contractor, I'm going to click on this and it's going to give me 94 companies who will do work in South Jersey for elevators. Now you can sponsor this category at the top of the page to show you, just to give you a quick example, because there's no one sponsoring this one, but you can sponsor the category. So when people are looking for subs, you can be literally on the top of this list, which is a really great idea. And our advertising is very effective because people are using our project information and then looking for their subs. So to consider that as a really good, and it's really inexpensive, which is another nice benefit. Again, if you need a material supplier, equipment dealer, if you even want to look for a private owner, so I can just go for, like, say Wawa Dairies, the private, everyone knows Wawa. So I can go to Wawa, see what's in pre-planning, what's in planning, and what's been previously bid for Wawa. As well as if I want to look for the township of Cheltenham, you know what I mean? I could do whatever, private or public. So again, quick search in and out. You're not going to search elevator and try and find jobs here. That's not what this is for. This is one specific job, specific contractor, really targeted stuff. Now, these are what I call your tracking buckets. This is hugely important. So this is where you, and I have some things tracked on here just to kind of show you what it looks like when there is an update. So once a day, you want to clear this out. There might be no updates. There might be one. But if I click on this, it's letting me know I'm tracking 16 companies. So A&E hasn't done anything. Atlas Elevator hasn't done anything because I just looked at them a second ago. But Ben Harvey's picked up plans and they placed a bid. So I can say, okay, I worked with Ben Harvey. What do they just pick up plans on? So I can go to their holding plans tab and see they're holding one of these two sets of plans. And I can look at the job. Again, I can look at their bidding history of how effective they are at bidding, any private projects they're involved in, and kind of go through the whole thing. And once I've looked at Ben Harvey, it's cleared. Now it said I have 6 updates instead of 7. And Ben Harvey's still on here, but I looked at their information. I can also put notes in here and I can say Ben, his cell number or something I quoted, and put that information in here. If I want, and nobody sees this, everyone in your company can have their own separate usernames, passwords, links, create their own notes that nobody will see. Nobody knows you're tracking them, which is another common question I get asked. Does my competitor know I'm tracking them? No, they do not. Track away. It's everyone's favorite thing to do is track each other. And then this section here is tracking projects. So this is also incredibly important. So I'm tracking 20 projects. And if you cared enough to track it, you want to know what the update is. So this, I can look at this project, this bid last week. I didn't look at, there's a bid result. I can click on it and kind of scroll down and see that Mason Building Group was the low bid on the base bid on the contract for A1. And there's looks like a couple different alternates again. Apparently I'm having alternate day when I'm talking to everybody today. Everybody's an alternate. And then same thing with any private projects. This is in negotiated stage, and I can see permits have just been issued. So that's an update that I'm getting on a private project and what's going on. And Irwin and Layton is the GC on that project as well. So, and then when I come back, it's going to tell me I have 2 updates, right? Everything's still tracked in there. So this is really important. And then real-time information, while we're on here, there's going to be stuff starting to even flow in here to kind of look and see, like this might have happened yesterday, actually. Oh, no, this is a perfect, this is, oh yeah, it was yesterday, it looks like. So you can kind of look and see that Penn Builders was the low bidder. You can see who else bid it, all the information on here for electrical, plumbing, and so forth. But you'll see live updates happening in that section. Okay, one other thing, sub requests. Our clients will put in requests they're looking for subs on projects. So the contractor looking is here, the name of the project is here. So you can kind of click on them every once in a while if you see a GC you bid to, or somebody maybe you wanted to bid to, but you haven't in the past. And you can click on them and kind of see, this one's not really that helpful because it's basically saying all trades, but you have a contact person at Brockway and Harrington to reach out to. You can link right to that project or link to that contractor too and see all of their information. Okay, so that I'm rounding out because we started like 5 minutes late. Rounding out on my 30 minutes, just to give you a quick overview again. Local, in your backyard, reporters on the street. If you, and how you would use this really, day one is, I know I showed you a lot of things. And there's a lot I didn't show you too. You can make some contractor reports, design from owner. So you can do a contractor report, every contractor who bids in medical and see all the contractors who bidding medical work, or any GC who's done elevator projects in the last 3 years and who's getting all the bids for elevator maintenance contracts. You can kind of take a look at that too. So there's a little bit more we can look at. And if you'd like, again, to do a one-on-one, feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email, and we can do some, maybe even a couple minutes online to do some specific targeted things to take a look to see if this makes sense for you and your company, as well as discuss if any of you are interested, please reach out too. Pricing is based on the territory and geography. That's why I haven't gone through anything, because everyone is in different regions. So just first day again, tracking your contractors, tracking your projects. Fill these 2 buckets up on day 1, then get rid of the custom reports, and you can live off the daily report and just kind of see, again, this would be based on your territory. In pre-planning, there's 7 in planning. The out to bid section, there's just, I think, about 10 that just came out today. So as long as you track what comes out, you don't need to look at updates or really bid results on the daily report, because that'll all show up over here highlighted. So your daily use on this should be no more than 5 minutes a day. It's just looking at the new updates and stuff you've already tracked, give you updates on that and anything new coming out. So it's pretty, I hope you're getting the gist. It's very, very easy to use. That's the top 3 feedback I get from everybody. Very simple. Our owner has the mentality, get in, get out, do not spend all day on the computer. He comes from the construction mindset. That's why I think a lot of people gravitate to our service, finding it really simple to use.
Hey, so, LeeAnne,
yeah.
So I can attest to that. We are not very technologically advanced up here in Local 5. Me and Jack, we're not real good on the computer, but I can tell you this site is so easy to use because both of us use it all the time. And it's whether I'm having my coffee in the morning and I scroll through to see what jobs are popping up so we know where the work is. It really doesn't, that's so true. 5 minutes a day, either the beginning of the day or the end of the day, and we know where all the elevator projects are in the tri-state area. And it's been a great tool, and it's simple use. So.
Thanks. It's so funny that you said that because our clients, when we see them at trade shows or something, will always come up and be like, coffee and CIS. Like, it's funny that you said it because that's like a common like slogan. I think we're going to start branding like CIS coffee, a cup of coffee and CIS. We're doing a trade show next week and we're like actually giving out coffee during it because people keep saying it so much. It's kind of funny that you brought that up. But yes, Joe, thank you so much for introducing us to your group of people, your members, and allowing us to do this to see if we can help everyone finding more work. I really appreciate it so much. And I appreciate all of you taking the time to take a look today as well. And again, feel free to reach out to me directly if you kind of want to go through pricing, want to take a closer look at some of the other reports for private or public work, contractor reports and such I mentioned. So thank you for your time, and I hope everyone has a great day. Take care.